Hey there guys, it's me, Alex. Back again with another video. This video is a little bit complicated, so I'll try not to jump around too much. But first things first, thanks for watching, and I am releasing a new single this Friday. Why am I announcing today? Well, as some of you guys may know, today is the anniversary of Chester Bennington passing from committing suicide 4 years ago. And as some of you may also know, Linkin Park is one of my favorite bands to this day, but Chester Bennington in particular is one of my favorite frontmans of a band. And as I got to learn more about him, my connection with him and his artistry and Linkin Park's music just became that much deeper. So before I continue, just hit the points. The song is called This Pain, and it comes out this Friday, so July 23rd. It should be available on Spotify and iTunes and wherever else you get your music. If not, it'll be on those other places soon, but definitely on iTunes, definitely on Spotify. Now, one of the biggest reasons I felt a big connection with Chester Bennington and why Linkin Park music starts to mean even more to me is because right around the time of his passing, maybe a little before or after, I forget, I learned that Chester was a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. He, I believe, was abused from the age of like 7 to about, I want to say, teenager sometime. And as some of you may not know, again, content warning, trigger warning. I'm going to talk more about childhood sexual abuse. Nothing in depth, but it will continue to come up in this video. So if that's too much for you to handle, feel free to click away or skip to the parts that you don't want to watch. So, as some of you may know, I myself am a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. Now, the first instance in my case happened when I was around 3. And I want to say from about 3 to about 10, there are several instances, not always sex particularly, but things around sexuality, I guess sexual nature, that happened for me that, I'm still working through in counseling. And even some things happen, afterwards that I'm still working through in counseling, try to put things in the right place. But because of that reason, Chester's story resonated a lot with me, his music and his artistry, and just kind of that pain and like a lot of it just resonated with me. And if you've been through this yourself, that that's something that you don't completely get rid of. But you carry it with you and the scars from it, and more than anything, kind of the dysfunction that it can lead to your life, because like many men and boys who go through that at such an early age, you don't talk about it. There are several reasons why I didn't talk about the different instances in my life until recently that I've been going through with my family, and for the time that I was in counseling with my counselor. But that really didn't help me in my life until, now. So that's why I want to speak on it now, because, I've been inspired by, different men speaking out, about their experiences and their abuses that they went through at different points in their life. Most recently, there was a football player out of Michigan State, and then there's all the stories, that came from like Penn State and like, other situations, I believe the Ohio State, and then, not to mention, the big scandal with, the women in gymnastics, which, unfortunately, women speak more about this experience, and so we see more of it, we hear more about it, and we're familiar with talking about this discourse from that side of it. But I wanted to just throw my chip out on the table to help put more representation out there, to let more men and boys know that they're not alone in this predicament and going through it, and that it can get better, and to keep working through what you're working through. And when you are ready, if you ever feel ready, open up, talk to someone, get counseling, because you will need it. At least in my experience, if nothing else, it helps just to talk about it, and the dysfunction that you can develop throughout life when these things go unspoken, when they go unworked out. I know in my life personally, it affected a lot of my relationships, how I form relationships, the way I view relationships. And it kind of explains more of why I tended to overdrink a lot in college, and like why I partied too hard with different drugs and different things like that. Not to condemn drinking or drugs or things like that, but when done in a healthy manner, people can get along just fine. And I'm not here to say what anyone should or shouldn't do, but you have to be smart, be safe, and make the best decisions for your life, in those regards. So how does this all tie into my single and the why explanation? Because this is now going to be the why video, if I failed to mention that at the top. So one of the biggest reasons why I want to pursue music is because I would like to inspire people the way Chester inspired me, the way other artists have inspired me throughout my life, and encourage me really to keep going on, to look forward towards hope, to look forward towards things getting better, and all that. And I would love to be able to do that. And I know that it's hard to keep looking forward, to keep looking up, to keep looking through a brighter day, but sometimes that's all you have. On top of the sexual childhood abuse that I experienced throughout my life, there were also those different situations that I dealt with because my family grew up pretty impoverished. We moved a lot due to that. Food was sometimes scarce, lights, hot water, different things were off and off, or we'd go without for a little bit. Transportation wasn't always readily available, and so we just missed out on a lot of things. There's a lot of instability and whatnot, in my life, and that added to these different things that I was dealing with. And just being the child that I was quiet. I kept it to myself. I was often told that I was quiet, and and there's different discipline methods and all this other stuff that can come with Black families, at least a lot of the families that I'm familiar with, that probably heavily contributed to the different dysfunctions and whatnot that I developed throughout my life, that I've been working on, while I was in counseling. Took a bit of a break because we hit a plateau, but in this time, I've done a lot of journaling and recalling and things like that. That has helped, and so it's given me a lot more information to present once I get back into counseling, and hopefully, and I know we'll be able to make more progress and more work there. So how does this all tie in to music and why I do music and Chester and my song that I'm releasing? Well, what I would like to do, aside from inspire people, give them hope and courage and all that stuff, is that if it ever happens, if I'm ever so fortunate to get you all support and the support of others, as I would always do, I would like to give back to impoverished communities, specifically Black communities, because that's where my heart is, because that's where I grew up, and I know what it's like when opportunities are lacking, when education is lacking, when exposure to different things are lacking. You just kind of go without, and you kind of live your life in this kind of tunnel of impoverishment. And specifically, what I would like to do is, just at the very base level, if I ever could, is provide just funds for schools, for families, so more children can be involved in sports, involved in the arts, involved in more science, education. Those are probably the top three for me, because those are the things that I enjoy the most and that I would have loved to see more. But also because a lot of times when you grow up poor, you might be able to kind of participate in these things, but it's only during school and school hours. And thank goodness we have the internet these days where you can get a little bit more of that. But a lot of times if you can't be on the team in school, you don't have the option of going to a community team here, there, or wherever, You don't get those science camps, or you don't get those art camps unless, you know, it's through a school and it's either subsidized some way, or it's cheap enough or inexpensive enough that your family can happen to afford it. So that's kind of my goal, is to, you know, get that going somehow, some way, someday. And that's pretty much the why. That's kind of been my goal, like, you know, not just help myself, help my family, help my friends, but to help those who were like me growing up, who don't have very many options, don't have very many resources, and would like to. Because no one who grows up in those situations wants to be in those situations. No one who grows up in those situations wants to stay in those situations. And unfortunately, when you don't have very many examples showing you how to get out of it, what it takes, and or just that there is another option. You know, we see TV, we see movies, we read books and all these other things, but, you know, unless it's real life, unless it's something tangible, unless it's something you can see, that you can talk to, that you can experience for yourself, it can feel very, very far away. And, you know, I'm grateful for the experiences that I was able to have, and, you know, I wish I would have had more. And so that's what I would love to do for people one day. So again, this is my why video, and it ties into my new single that's coming out this Friday, called This Pain. It should be available on iTunes and Spotify for sure, and then anywhere else that you get your music. So again, today is Chester Bennington's birthday. Also, I'm sorry, today is Chris Cornell's birthday, but it's the 4th anniversary of Chester Bennington's passing from him committing suicide. So rest in peace, and thank you for all the inspiration, all the motivation, and, you know, hope that you provided for me, and I hope to one day do that for others. And I hope the rest of you guys enjoy your day. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.